So I am calling this meeting to order of the Littleton Cultural Council on June 10th at 7:09 p.m. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. I think it's going to be a quick one, honestly. Like I was thinking before I got on, I'm like, I don't think we have a lot going on, but I have been wrong before occasionally, so you never know. The first order of business is, did everybody get a chance to read over the minutes from our May meeting? And if so, can we vote to approve the minutes?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the minutes from May.
Okay.
Second.
Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, awesome. Our May 2025 meeting minutes are officially approved at 7:09 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you for taking them too, Kim, last month.
Yes, thank you, Kim.
You'll notice they were somewhat aborted from the usual very quick typing.
No worries. It was great.
Okay, so our next agenda item is just the treasurer update. I think if anybody had time before the meeting, Ray emailed it to all of us. I can, Ray, do you want me to bring it up or do you want to drive?
I can bring it up.
Fabulous.
Let me just get it up. Not too much to share. We're on track with spending. With the notification we received that last remaining fiscal year 24 grant was not going to be used, I've now shown it as forfeited. So essentially every year is closed prior to the current year, which is nice. Just have it all clean. That does give us an $820 credit balance as we roll forward into the next fiscal year, which starts in 20 days. We still have $4,100 of grants outstanding from fiscal year 25, which is not terribly unusual. There are a few here that I can show on the screen that are still outstanding, where we have not received any request yet. It is these ones. So the Country Expo cookbooks, that just barely happened, so I'm not surprised we haven't received that yet. Contemporary Arts International, the Stone Carving Symposium, they usually are later in the cycle. Fitchburg Art is also usually a summertime. And the rest of these also. I'm not terribly surprised that we haven't gotten any paperwork for these. So to me, it feels like we're roughly on track. If I just flip back to the report, the only other noteworthy item is the town has processed. I don't know if Kiki and Juliana have received it yet. I think I received mine. I just haven't cashed it yet of the reimbursement.
I did.
Yeah, I got mine. Bloom.
I got mine too.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. So we still have $200 remaining for anything else that might occur in the next 20 days. I doubt we'll need that. And so that probably will also go back into the pot for next year. We don't lose that money. It just gets recycled. And then we'll start over for this coming fiscal year. I already saw at town meeting what got approved by the town of Littleton for next year's budget. I thought it was flat or maybe a couple $100 up from this year. This year was 5,600. It might have been 5,800 or 5,600 for next year. Pretty sure the state will also be the same. So we'll roll forward and have a similar amount of money to distribute next year, but that's what we'll cover in the fall. The only other item was the one that I forwarded to you separately from the town office, where we need to have a vote on signature authorization. So this is this is a bureaucratic thing. So let me just explain what this even is and why we even need to take a vote on this. So not all town committees have money to spend. Town departments do, but not town committees. Some do, some don't. So the normal governance rules, if I understand correctly, is the default is that you would always need a majority to vote in favor of any spending action. we spend money every time we issue a grant payment. So it's not like when you spend is not when we deliberate on the grants, but when we actually cut the checks and approve a payment. We instead have a 2-signature form that you guys have all helped fill out at different times. And so it's really just a re-acknowledgement and a renewal of our vote that we like to use that 2-signature process rather than having to get a majority vote at one of these public meetings every month to distribute grant funds. So this is literally just the town asking us to reaffirm that we want to take a technically different bureaucratic approach to how we distribute money. And we need to document that in our notes and then provide that back to the town saying, yes, we want to keep doing it this way. There's no issue with doing it, but it just needs a renewed vote every year to reaffirm that we intend to do it this way. So I would propose that we continue to do it this way for the coming fiscal year and submit that to a vote for the committee or for our group. So anyone second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if we can document that in the minutes, I'll provide the minutes back to the town, and that's the end of the matter for another year.
Fantastic.
That's all I got. The end.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay.
Okay. So moving right along, we have the grantee events that are upcoming for the summer and a little bit into the fall. The LMS Country Expo cookbooks. Did anybody go to Country Expo? I did not. How was it, Kiki?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How was it, Ray?
Oh, it
Same.
was great. Yeah.
It was awesome. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Juliana was there. Yeah. Her and my son, her son and Cora were like back to back. on the same
And you guys
table.
don't have the cookbooks yet, right? Like it won't be printed until, or do you have it already?
No,
He
they
prints
won't
it
come
over the
till the
summer.
summer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, he prints them over the summer.
So
Nice.
he's taking, people were taking orders. You know, the only thing I was going to email him, when I went through all the documents, there wasn't any mention about the funding from the Cultural Council. So I might just shoot him a quick email just to say, hey, when you print it, like, make sure you
Oh, that's
write that on there. Because
So-
it wasn't.
So here's the interesting thing. We approved a grant here. We may want to re-educate Dustin on how this works because I think they actually used the money to buy the trifolds.
I was also wondering about that because suddenly the trifolds came home and I was like,
Yeah, I used to have to
I
hunt.
think
I used
they
to have to
said-
hunt down a
remember-
trifold. Maybe the school funded the trifolds, and then
No,
we're
I think-
partially funding the
I think
cookbooks.
you
I don't know.
said, remember when there was one event
two.
that they did for the sixth graders where he sang. Remember that they had pizza and they had an inflatable and
oh, yep. And he was singing up on the stage.
what I understood is they charged I think $5 per kid, and then whatever they got from that, the pizzas and the donations that they did to him when he was dancing, I think that was what paid for the trifolds, because that's what he said.
Okay.
That helped
There you go.
for the trifold. So yeah.
Perfect.
Because he also still charged $20 for a cookbook. Now I know those aren't cheap to print, so maybe we're just subsidizing that.
Yeah,
But,
and I think in his email he says that whatever is left over from the collection from those $20 will be used to buy the trifolds for next year. That's what the email says.
Okay.
So maybe if he applies next year, we should just be clear in our response that like the monies like will go towards X if we decide to not
Money
fund
gets
the
used
trifolds.
for this.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
also look at when he fills out the final report, what it says too.
Yeah, and we can just remind him like there are a lot of parents who actually
Are on the board.
checking in on you, bro. No kidding. Okay, cool.
I didn't
okay.
actually talk to him. I assume he is still planning to submit because when I saw that he's still collecting payment for the cookbooks, I was like, is he intending to not use council money anymore? Because I thought his application said that we would essentially fully fund the cookbooks with the grant.
Yeah.
So when he said he was going to continue to collect money for the cookbooks, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I was curious about
I
this.
mean,
but
we
I meant
can
to-
just throw that $1,000 back in the pot for next year if he doesn't want the money, I guess.
Yeah, I meant to look at the panel book and see what the actual They
It was for the
said-
cookbooks.
No, I know. I just wasn't sure if it said we're planning to charge because you know. What I
Oh,
mean?
right.
Like if that was
Yeah.
laid out. I wasn't 100%.
Because they are big. The cookbooks are big. Like it encompasses a lot of recipes, but
Right. So maybe it's the $1,000 and the $20. That just starts
Could be.
to sound like a pretty expensive cookbook, if you ask
it
me.
does. It does.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now. So it says last year we charged $15 per book for those who were interested. So that is a little.
So now he's
curious.
charging
So he's
more,
charging
and then
more,
he's
but
not funding.
And we've subsidized it?
right. That is weird.
Let's see.
Did
It
we
says
send a
last
clarifying email or?
It says last year the cookbooks cost $800 for 75. This idea was at last minute. The $1,000 estimate is what it would cost for 100 books. In kind, how will you adjust? Yeah, this is curious because it says if the council will not fund this, then we will raise the cost of the books to families. So we funded
Yeah.
it, but he still raised the cost.
Well, and also like, if there's like 100 students, right? Is that like that's like, and they're charging $20 for
Right.
each? That's like more than what the estimated cost
Yeah.
is.
So I don't know. I mean, and
I
for
think
all
it
we
would be
know,
good to reach out and ask. And it's we have a little inside track just because a few of us have kids there, but no harm in asking. It's like, hey, based on this, are you still intending to take these funds from the council? I mean, if not, that's okay. Let's recycle the funds for
Yeah.
next year.
yeah,
No,
and it's
no
not
spin-
outs-
like he's not doing anything. It's not like he's charging the 20 and also
Right.
asking for the 1,000, but he might, like if he had already submitted for this,
right.
then I'd be questioning even more. He hasn't submitted anything. So I'm like, well, maybe like would somebody be willing to reach out and ask?
Yeah, I mean, we have done this before where, like, at the end of the year, anyone that hasn't submitted, we just do a little reach out to say, like, hey, it's getting close to the end of the fiscal year, and we're curious if you're still on track to use the grants. I'm happy to reach out to him because I was going to reach out to him just about, making sure that if he is using the grant money, that he's notating that because I that wasn't on there at all. So I was curious about that too, just the whole thing. So I'm happy to do that.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, Kiki.
it was a substantial chunk of grant money.
Well, that's the thing. It's not
Yeah.
like $100. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't 100, it was 1,000.
Because it checked all our boxes, like in our mission, right? Like it's
Right.
local,
Right.
like it's promoting.
That might be the only reason I'm lingering on is I'm like, like,
Right.
And
Right.
it wouldn't be possible because they didn't like if we say that money would just be rolled to next year, or could they be used for, let's say, the art program and or the music, the band?
be moved
so
anywhere.
we're not allowed to do that.
No.
No, but
Like,
but next
They're
year.
supposed to use it for the grant that they submitted and nothing else.
But
They are.
the question is, does it roll over for next year or?
If it stays with us, does it roll over for next year? Yes.
Yes,
It
and
does.
it can be
So
used
that's
towards
where I'm like,
anything. Yeah.
And
Doesn't have
maybe
to
that's
be
where I'm like, if
just
he had asked for the 1,000 already and was charging the 20, then I'd be a little even more sus. But like as it is, I'm like, why don't we just ask him if he still intends to ask for the grant money? Because based
Right,
on
'cause-
charging $20 this year versus 15 last year, I'm like, maybe he forgot that he got this
Right.
grant.
Yeah, because he never replied to the he never responded to the email saying he got the grant. I was
Right.
like, did you get this?
Right.
And that's what I
Maybe
did.
A turn like because we also denied one for the trifolds, and we also
Right.
Oh, maybe they
accepted the
have
other one. So I
He
wonder if
might have
got
thought it was
confused and thought
denial
that
for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done that before where I just would find the original email. That's what I did with the Parks and Recs guy, where I was like, hey, did you get this email? And then he was like, oh, like he just didn't remember. So
I think there's more
And
than
he
a
also
zero
just
chance
had a
that he
baby,
forgot
so-
or
Yeah.
didn't realize that he had this money available. So
right. Yeah.
Right.
And
That's
yeah,
why I'd love to reach out.
yeah, I'm happy to do that.
So we get the money back if it turns out to be a mistake and he doesn't need the money anymore. So
Right.
we'll use it for next year.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Perfect. All right. Thanks for doing that outreach rather, Kiki. And on to the next item. The next grantee event is Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, which is this weekend, the musical, June 14th to 15th. Is anybody planning on attending this lovely musical? It is at
This
I was
weekend.
going to go, but now I can't go.
I know I
Tim,
can't
you're
go
still
either.
going? Yeah, good.
it's in Acton at Theater 3.
I got a preview at Pride Karaoke Night. We got a preview. So
Ooh.
Oh, did they do? That's awesome. Did they do like a little
they
like
did a
song
little
from it?
sing. They did a little sing thing.
I
It was
love
good.
that. That's so cool. All right, so report back. Let us know how it goes.
Do my best.
And then let's see. The next one is the Fitchburg Art Museum, the 89th Regional Exhibition of Art and Craft, June 21st through September. So we have a while to check that off. I think we had even talked about maybe all getting together and going at some point, like over the summer, or I think that was that one. So we can circle back in for the July meeting, because I know June is crazy with the end of the year with all the fun stuff happening. So we can put that back on the agenda, I think, for next time.
I went to the Roger Tinknell, the Beatles music at the
Oh,
senior.
yes.
How
How
was
was
that?
that?
I went more. I mean, I like the Beatles, but I used to hire him when I would work with kids. He used to do that. So I just kind of wanted to see him, but it was well attended. I would say like 30 people, which
That's
was
good.
Cool.
And then he did a good job. I think people would have gone on, so he may come back. I don't know.
That's
Nice.
awesome. So I should mention, I'm in Acton Community Chorus, and we had our concert over the weekend, and it went really well. It was like pretty well attended, and they also partnered with a community group called Reach, which is basically like helps domestic violence victims. And so they did like a drive of items that were needed, mostly like personal care items and money. They had a representative there on site at the concert too, and I think they did pretty well in terms of donations from the chorus members, and then monetary donations from the audience. So
Awesome.
Nice.
yeah, it was really cool. I like how they do that. Okay, let me look. Okay, so that's it for grantee events that I know of upcoming. For item number 5, we are not, Judy is not here to officially welcome, but when it just did remind me that I think she had requested that we send a document that has everybody's name and everybody's phone number. And I realized that we probably don't have that. Do you want me to like quickly like take everybody's information down in like a Word document real quick? Or everybody can just shoot me an email after the meeting to do that, whatever you think is more efficient.
Probably
Unfortunately,
do it now.
mine's on every single email I send, so I have no secrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to do it right now?
Yeah, I think that's
Well, the only thing about
Might forget.
just as an FYI, this is recorded. So if you don't want your
Oh.
private
Oh,
information
great
on
call.
a public
Oh, good point.
recording,
good call.
then
Thank
I
you.
might suggest that we just maybe do it via email.
Okay.
And
Might be.
I'm happy to type it up into the Google Drive. And
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. All right. So do you want to send like a doc?
Yeah,
then
I'll
for
send it.
everybody?
That's what I'll do.
Awesome.
That's a great idea. That's what I'll do.
Done and done. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much for offering to do that. Okay. Public art project.
Oh, wait, I actually
Oh,
have one thing to add on that. So,
yeah.
I meant to add this on there. So now that we're coming to the end of the year, the fiscal year, just about people's terms who are up.
Yes.
I think, Ray, are you up in 2025? I think
I did not think I was up at all, and yet I did get a note from Lisa Montgomery saying that I'm up.
Yeah, so I looked back at, remember Diane Corey sent us that big long thing that was like extremely well,
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was 2026 or 2027. that I was
So
up.
it says for you first term 22 to 25, and then if you choose to reapply,
No.
it would be 25 to 28. So
No.
you can mull that and make a decision.
We just want you to renew, so,
I know.
this is
No,
prompting.
I was fully intending to. I didn't remember that I needed to, so it's
Yeah, so
made
I
that
think-
a non-event. I'll just reapply. I'm definitely renewing.
Awesome.
I might be
Yes.
done.
So from what I'm looking at, everybody else, a lot of us are up in 26.
Okay.
And that, so this year, it's just Ray for 25. So, all right, cool.
So what I hear is somebody has to clean out their garage for next year's blooms.
Yes, yeah, because Kim, that'll be your second one, your second term for 26. So you won't be able to reapply. You'll have to
be
take a
done.
year off. And
You
then
guys can kick me out.
I volunteered Judy because she's not here.
Yeah, there you go. Does anyone know if Judy has a garage?
When we recruit, do you have a garage?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Can they add that to
Do
the
you have a
application?
two-car garage?
What
Do you have
skills
just one car?
Do you own a pop-up tent?
Good point. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay. Thank you for reminding us of that actually. All right. The public art project updates. 1, Little Town in Bloom is a wrap. How did breakdown go? Kim, was it complicated and did you have enough? It was like a hurry up and last
actually,
minute.
piece of cake. So the irony was we were there in a snowstorm to install, and it was 94 degrees when we took them down.
Sorry.
And of course, we only had time. My son and I went, and we only had time at 5 o'clock, so rush hour. So we're sitting there in the common, sweating bullets, and everybody's looking like, "What are they doing?" And then I had to call Ray, "Mayday, Mayday! I can't fit everything." So he came the next morning to get the rest. So
good job, Ray.
he was my hero.
Just in time for the senior pictures to get up.
Right.
I got the rest of them in my shed, so we'll have them for next year.
Yeah.
And is everything down at the other locations that they were put to, or is there any need for that? Okay.
There was only Fay Park, and I got those as well.
Awesome.
And this is so silly, but last year it took a really lot of space, and this year I sort of did stick to stick and shifted them in so that they could flat to flat, stick to stick, and they take up far less space. It was just playing Tetris, and I'm not sure why it took so long for me to put that together. It was embarrassing. But anyway, it took up, it's not a big deal, really.
Thank you. Thank you both for doing that.
That is not a strong suit of mine either. I'm always like, why did it take me so long to work that simple task out?
I hated puzzles when I was a kid. I think that's the problem. It should have been like, come on, stick with it,
I'm better with mental puzzles of people and words than I am with space. And I can do a room. I can do anybody's room, but apparently sticks. I have
Tetris. No Tetris.
That's where your line is drawn. Sticks.
Oh my God, that's funny. All right. Okay, great. So does anybody have any other comments about Little Town in Bloom? Any challenges, see what we could do better, ideas for next year, anything like that? Or do you want to kind of shelf that until we start to ramp up again next year? Or do we want to do it again next year?
I would say do it again next year. I loved just going down there and seeing them. And I think I had sent a picture. I took my grandkids and fixed some of them that were falling, but it was fun.
We should order the extra things as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And give them to people now. And if they want to send it to us over the year, I would be totally fine with that because it was a bit of a hustle. And spring is crazy busy for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think the hardest part was poor Karen and I kept trying to say, well, I can do it here. No, I can do it there. No, I can. So I wasn't trying to ignore help. It just was, that won't work. But
yeah,
maybe it's easier to get everybody's parts out way early.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Some of the churches said they squawked that we were only giving them a week or two. I also know that if you give them 6 weeks, it won't be done either. So
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was my feedback too, is maybe more time between when we give it so that we would have everything at once. And I think, so maybe working backwards, planning the install date and then backtracking it and being really clear. Cause I think there was also some miscommunications with the groups about we need it back by this day, so and maybe just being having to say, oh, okay, if your event isn't for 2 more weeks after that, we have to say no.
And so one thing to note is that we can do it until the week before Memorial Day. They need to come and clean and mulch and do all the things. So they wanted our stuff out so that they could put fresh mulch down. And so that's our date for get out, right? And if we want it to be there for, say, a month ahead of time, then we kind of we only got a couple of weeks, so let's sort of,
So we can add that.
What if we take our monthly meeting in September while we're still waiting on grant applications to come in to plan the following spring event
love that.
calendar
great
and
idea.
that and then volume of items we would want to offer, or the organizations we'd want to reach out to and see if they want to sign up, and then we'd know the volume that we would need to go get, and then we could purchase the materials over the winter,
Right.
That's
and then
great.
you're just ready to go by the start date, which
Like
would be in
the Girl Scouts
March or
might really enjoy that timing.
February,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, paint them over the winter, and you'll see them up in the spring,
Yeah, and it gives them more time to plan it out and put it into their calendars too, you know?
right?
Mhm. Great.
But yeah, I agree. After 2 years now, I think we know the timing, right? So we could work backward and be pretty specific around the calendar, and then we could get people some
right, we
materials
know
as early
screws, we
as
know-
they'd like.
That's right. We know multiple flowers can be on one thing. We know that screws matter. Like we've learned a
Yeah.
lot of this. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think we need to also be better at communicating not only the times and when, like the cutoff, but the fact that you don't get to keep them, but they're the property of the account.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And that if your flowers are not ready by this date, we
Correct.
cannot do anything. Like
Right.
we need to.
We'll see you next year.
And yes.
Yeah.
yeah. You don't get them back.
Like I think we were really, and I'm saying we, but it's more like Kim, you did awesome in saying that I can pick it up, or I think Karen, you did too. Like we were very flexible and very kind to everyone, like saying, yeah, whenever they're ready, we will come by and get them. But that adds to everything for you guys, and I mean for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think we should do that. Like there's a deadline, and then after that, that's it.
Yeah, I agree with
It
you.
makes it easy.
Well,
for
like
assembly.
there's some old fashioned like PTA things that I saw my wife do with other PTA people over the year. I'm sure some of you experienced it. It's like, hey, at this address there will be a box outside. You put it in the box
Yeah.
from between
Right.
this day and this day. If you want them put up, here's
Yeah.
where you go and you drop them off.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
we-
good
It
idea.
can be
We need to
it can be
think-
somebody's house where it's sheltered from rain or whatever. But other than that, it's like it's on them.
Yeah,
You
think
get-
of
you get
the
it back to
process.
us.
I think we should need to think of a process where it's less work for us, so it's more enjoyable, and that it lasts. It will make this last, and and be better for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Good
It's a good
suggestion.
idea.
Well, no snow would be nice.
I know.
Keep dreaming.
I know, because last year we did it
That
in
was fun
June.
though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look back and I enjoyed that thing.
Yeah,
Well,
me
Juliana
But I
kicked
wouldn't.
me
But
out.
I wouldn't want it to happen every year. I'll be
Right.
real about that too.
I don't want to buy a new tent every year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I forgot about that.
It's okay. That was 10 years old. It has served the $119 very well. I feel that didn't owe me anything. I'm perfectly fine setting that free.
Why don't we buy a tent with the money
Yeah.
that's over for the council? That
That's
way,
a great
it's
idea.
not your
Your
tent.
room in your garage, my friend?
No, there's no space.
Well, I could store it. I could store something in my shed if we did do that. But that might not be because we do use it for third Thursdays if we're doing that again. So
That would be a
would
great
a good
idea. That we don't rely on anyone's property, and if it gets damaged, well, the council needs to replace it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down with that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We can look in because you can print them too, and then it can say LCC on
Yeah,
the cultural
that's
council.
awesome.
Right. Yeah, let's put that on the July agenda.
I like
Look
it.
into that info.
Take that note, Kiki Donahue.
I'll put that down.
Shop around. I love it. All right. Okay, so next is just the labyrinth. I feel like that's always kind of Sarah's baby, and so
I
Oh,
was
you have-
there.
yeah,
I was at Castle in the Trees 2 weeks ago, and my granddaughter and I went over, and we found maybe 6 rocks. I don't know where all the others went, but so she took them and she put them on top of that bigger rock that sits there. So, and we haven't gone because every Tuesday it's rained since.
The beginning of the
Saturday.
year, it feels like. Yeah.
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 But yeah. So that was I felt bad because she really enjoyed helping me make them into a labyrinth. So
yeah, that's too bad.
you win again.
What'd you say? Oh, what'd you say,
I
Kathy?
think it's worth doing again. I know that the
Yeah.
camp really enjoyed it. The kids finding their own rocks and then painting them and being able to find them at the park.
Yeah, and it's coming up this season. I mean, with all the summer camps, with her Parks and Rec and everything, that's probably like a good way to outsource that activity if we can. I think Sarah facilitated that last year. I don't know if she still wants to, but if she does, like, I can shoot her an email and see if she still wants to kind of be the point person for that. Just write that down. And if she doesn't, then we can talk in July about, you know, what the future of I feel like we've been talking about the future of the labyrinth for like 2 years, but like, you know, does anybody have any thoughts on it, or we'd sort of just keep chugging along with it the way
I think
it's
I
been?
shared before that Geraldine, who had designed it, said that her intent was a temporary display, art display. So her feelings are not hurt if this no longer needs to be there, if something else needs to be there. Maybe we consider, if not that, what? Maybe that's the conversation as well.
Remember
Yeah.
that idea I shared about making like a snake and having like a little sign that says, help us grow this snake and, you know, bring art to this,
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, in nicer words, of course. But then you're inviting people, like you can start with the club or whatever, you know, the summer camps, and they can come and start assembling. Like one of us could paint a big rock with the head of the snake, and then the camps come and put their little, you know, rocks so that we start growing the body. But then we have a sign there from the Littleton Cultural Councils inviting people from, you know, whoever comes and plays there, they know that they can bring a rock from home, paint
Yeah.
it there,
Yeah.
and grow the art display. But we would
And
need
is there a
to have
sign now? Kathy, is there a sign now there?
There's no sign there, no.
So it doesn't say anything like
It
this
doesn't.
was
Yeah,
Okay.
something happened to the sign we had, I think.
okay, because
Yeah.
that would be so important, I think. Like,
Yeah, we could at least get a new sign.
Yeah.
Just saying what it
That way
is and
people
saying,
know that the rocks are intended to stay there and there's a purpose, right? Instead of, I found, which is was also cool. I understand that you found a really cool
Yeah.
rock. I like it. I want to take it to my garden or whatever. No, I mean, if you're a little kid.
yeah. I
Maybe.
think we maybe should look. I don't know how if we could, because the problem is that they also kept taking the sign. And so, so this is like not the first or second sign. And so like, I don't know if we can find something that's more permanent. I don't know if there's anything over there where we could like nail it to, because we've just been doing lawn signs, but,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, because there's really, I'm trying to think, trees and
Yeah, there's
just
really not like a
stone
tree.
wall or something. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a Girl Scout project,
Yeah. Make a post for the sign.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could at least get a lawn sign printed. I mean, the guy that I've been using the last couple of years, they're $9 to get one sign. So we could at least, and I think I still have all the details from the original, the first one, which was just generic. It just said what it was. And like, you were welcome to put a rock there, you know, and that it was what it was, that, you know, that it was there for a purpose. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Juliana has. I just think for now, like, if we want to like stop the immediate theft of the rocks, like maybe that's a good like temporary solution to reach out. And then when Sarah facilitates like the new painted rocks, they'll stay maybe. And then just long term, let's decide if we want to like go with that snake idea and come up and like maybe partner with Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts on a more permanent structure for a sign describing what it is. Or maybe even we could even host a contest, like, you know, something that says like, oh, you know, does anybody have a good idea for what we can do with this space? Like the Labyrinth Project is, you know, looking for ideas, like something like that. So I guess I will circle in with Sarah, and then we will add that to the July agenda again. And then on to third Thursdays. The first one is on June 19th.
So I should have asked this earlier, but I have no idea what that means. I'm trying to, you know, every
Third
meeting, I'm
Thursday?
like, okay, I will find out. I will find it, but then I let it go, and I don't know what that is.
It's
Yeah, so-
like something Parks and Rec does on the third Thursday of the month. And it's like I feel like the first one's usually a slow ramp up. And then as the summer goes on, sometimes they'll have food trucks or a bouncy house and just different community organizations. So you might see someone selling, food, but there might also be a craft person there. And then if you're a community group like us, you don't have to pay. We can just get a tent. So in years past, we've just been there as a presence. I think we've done sun catchers the last 2 years. So we just got sun catchers and paint, and and that was a way. And what I do like about it is it is usually the way that we would ask people to fill out our annual community survey that we have to do. So while their kids were painting the sun catcher, I would usually bring like an iPad with the Google form, like the survey form brought up, and just sort of cajole the parents, like, well, you're standing here, fill out this form, or have them scan it on a QR code. So I mean,
Where do they do it?
Oh,
Park.
they want to do it at Fay Park. Last year was major issues with flooding at Fay Park, so I think every single time it was moved to that basketball court where at Castle in the Trees.
Okay.
Because Fay Park is like low lying, and I think it was so wet last summer. So I mean, I'm not sure they might be moving this one. The only thing is you really need like a tent and table and chairs and at least 2 people to like get the thing kind of going. And so we haven't always done every single one every single summer, but I think we've made a valiant effort to have a presence there.
Okay.
My vote personally is to just do July and August, just because I feel like June is like one of the lighter ones, and it's also kind of a busy time of year, probably for all of us to get there. That's just my opinion, but if somebody wants to alter that, that's fine too.
I mean, that was what I was going to say, because I know for me personally, I can't do the June one, and plus it's coming up. It's like
what
next
time is
week.
this on the third Thursday?
Only 5,
It's
right?
at 5 or 5,
5:30?
or does it start at 5:30 and we get to come at 5?
Yeah.
I took a screenshot on my phone, which of course I can't find.
And people leave early too. Like you don't have to, we can't man it the whole time, you can always leave early, but typically it's like 5:30 to 7:30 or something. And there's usually like a food truck and a band and like all that stuff. And it is pretty fun. Like if people participate, I do wish there was a little bit more of an anchor. Something there, you know what I mean? Like something that, wow, I really want to go
have
see
Ed
this.
Weenies. That was fun.
Right. That's a good anchor, right?
And
Like something
music.
that pulls people to really want to go.
It's from 5 to 7. I just looked it up.
5 to 7. Okay.
5 to 7, but you can start setting up at 3:30.
Yeah.
And like it is pretty casual. Like sometimes people will leave early if they can't stay the whole time.
So it's like the Oktoberfest.
No, it's not as big as that one, but it is like very similar in the way it's set up for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the website now. It looks like, they must have it says June, and August, but I noticed the one that says June actually has a July date. So they must have must have been a copy paste error.
What's
So
the
it
date?
looks like, it's going to be July 17th and then August 21st.
So I won't be here on the July one, but will be here on the August, I believe.
Let me just put this in the notes.
Say that again, July 17th.
July 17th, August 21st.
I think I'll probably be here for the 17th, but not for the 21st.
I can be here for both.
Awesome.
And so our next meeting's on July 8th, so we would at least have time to make a decision and get whatever we want.
And is the community survey, is that available right now?
By the way, you want
I
a
haven't-
tent.
I haven't made it
We
yet.
used the tent last time from me, and so you want the tent, and
So we'll need it before that time.
right. So
Yeah.
if we decide that we're going to do that as a group, we should make that happen. I have
Okay.
not purchased a new tent, so
I do.
You
I
have
have
a
it.
tent.
Yeah, we used my tent last year when you weren't there, so we
Okay.
can use my tent because, I want to make sure we get a good deal on the tent. I don't want to rush it.
Of course.
right, right.
So typically the community survey, it's like a fiscal year thing, so I don't usually start it until July anyway. So
Perfect. So then let's
Um,
wait, to do
yeah.
the July 19th one, and then have the community survey printed up with the QR code like we did before.
yeah,
And then do we want to make it easy and do sun catchers again, or is there any other ideas for crafts that we might want to?
Do we want to start our snake?
I would love that. That's a great idea.
yeah. The only challenge, 2 years ago we did the
Yeah.
rocks, and the issue is that the sun catchers the kids take away. And the problem with the rocks was that we had to wait for them to dry, and there was a really difficult to be able to get them out. So like if a kid paints the rock right when it closes, what are you going to do with it? And then they were so heavy for all, we had to carry them like
Transporting
all the
them.
way across.
And you can't stack them back in the bucket, so you have
That's
to
the
make a
thing.
tray
So they were
of
all,
them.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the rocks were challenging. And I wish that last year we had known it was going to be over there at Castle in the Trees for so much time, because we could have
That
just
would have
said
been
to them,
great.
right.
Yeah.
But so yeah, and that's always my hang up about doing the rocks at Third Thursday is like the transporting of it. Unless we feel comfortable saying you're going to take your rock home and you're going to bring it over to the labyrinth. But if we're saying we're going to bring it to the labyrinth, it's like just a lot of
Yeah.
and you need a lot of space because all the rocks that they paint have to be flat for like hours, to dry so they don't get.
Because they
Gross.
really glob it. Those
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
really glob it.
It's a lot of thick coats. Yeah. That's not, yeah.
It's the perfect word, glob.
Yeah. So that's the only like challenge with it is it was like, because I think remember when we did it, we didn't even have enough cars to lay them flat,
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah, because even if we said, hey, you're going to bring this over yourself, they're going to pick it up and get paint all over their hands, and their parents are going to be cursing the Littleton Cultural Council. Like, paint all
well, we
over
could do the trays, like we did for the sun catchers. So
Yeah.
I still have, because I think when I bought the trays, it was like a stack of 500. So I probably still have 300 trays.
Okay.
So we could do the rocks if we're saying, we're going to make them responsible for taking them away in the tray, and then they could just stay flat and then have them, put it in. Hold on, my
And the
computer's saying
chances are
it
very
down.
good that we'll get back about 10 to 15%. So we have to keep in mind that we're going to fund a really fun project, and those rocks are not coming back to build our snake. And that's okay, but we just need to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It maybe gets the thing going for whenever the labyrinth thing is, or no, or maybe it's a good idea to do something different because we're doing the labyrinth project. I don't know.
Or do we set up our thing in that labyrinth space? Even because a lot of people park over there. So is that
Yeah, it's a
working?
walk to Fay Park. Yeah, that's true. But
So
then we're
not part of everything.
and then we lose the community survey thing, which has sort of been our main
Right.
way of getting it done. Like that's how I sometimes look at the Third Thursdays is like the catalyst to get the community survey. Because before we did that, we would get like 4 people to fill it out.
Not to mention, it's just a fun community, like it's one of the points of being on a group, right?
Right, to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could also tell people, you can walk it over there right now, but yeah, I don't know how that plays out. Yeah, I think it's an idea worth like brainstorming a little bit and workshopping out like how we could do it. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's something we can spray on them so they would at least be
Oh,
mostly
go to
ready.
the nail salon and they spray.
Yeah, that's what I was
dry
thinking.
thing. That's a great idea.
Is there like a quick dry? And then, since it is right there, we either say you can take it over there right now, or we get a wagon and throughout the day. I don't know. It would also depend on how many people could physically be there.
Yeah. Excuse me.
How many of the sun catchers do you have left?
Don't have any left at all, like maybe 2 or
okay.
3. So I'd have to order more. Yeah. We still have the trays. Yeah. People love the sun catchers because they're a quick little thing.
And
you
why
know,
don't
so-
we do both? Is that crazy?
No, I like that. Yeah, I mean, I like
what
the
do we have?
idea.
$800? I was just thinking about how much money we have.
And maybe with the cookbooks we have
200
1,000.
left.
Yeah, but we can't spend that until
Can't spend that until
back.
coming
I
fiscal year.
forget that. Sorry.
Can't spend the 800 or the 1,000 until next year.
right. Yeah. Although this would be July 17th, so theoretically we could start. We
It
could at
needs
least
to be
spend.
voted on as part of an allocation of the grant. You can't really touch the money until we deliberate in the fall.
Oh, I mean the 800 that we have. Is that what the bottom of it says now that we have 800?
That also needs to be voted on and allocated as part of the
So how
The
much
budget.
do we need?
budget cycle.
We can use like 300, no? Right now?
200.
Two.
What about what was left
He's
over
just gonna
from,
keep saying
Little
200
Tiny-
until we argue with him, and he's gonna say 200. We can do 200.
No, but wait a second. Remember that for Little Town in Bloom, we had leftovers because the wood
Yeah,
was.
That's the 200.
That's the
I'm talking about.
200. Yeah.
Oh.
That is the
200.
200.
That's all we have available right now.
Okay, I'll shut up
Or
now.
that's not encumbered. That doesn't need a formal fiscal cycle process to be
Okay.
spent.
The sun catchers are cheap. So I think last year I was trying to look it up. I don't think I spent even more than $100, and that's with buying all the other stuff, which I wouldn't need to buy that again because I still have the
Mhm.
trays.
What about the
paint-
wood flowers?
Paint.
What do you
if we
mean?
I
Start
feel
doing
like-
those.
That might be the same. That's a great idea, I think, for next cycle. Only because, like, I feel, well, not even because we're not going to talk about it till September. But my issue with the snake is this: we don't know exactly what we're doing with that yet. We haven't really like proposed it or like decided that we're definitely going to do that yet. And I really do like that idea, and I think it's a great idea for the future. But until we know for sure that we're going to go that route, I would probably just stick with the sun catchers to make our lives easier. But I do like the idea of like doing some dual, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
maybe for the July one, do the sun catchers, and then I don't know if like we only want to buy like less than what we did before, and then by August, if we've decided about the snake, then we could try and do the rocks for the snake.
If I may also make a comment, I'm going to be contrarian here. I don't think the labyrinth is viable
Okay.
anymore. Like,
Yeah.
the snake's a great idea as another effort to try to recover the space. We put art there and it walks off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just don't see that being a great value to the community.
Yeah, I feel like I've been on the council since 2022, and we've been talking about what to do with the labyrinth without success since then. And I think they were talking about it the year before that too. So I agree. I don't know how much monetary effort we want to put into it. I mean, I love the idea of getting something going with it again, but it does feel like it's always like a big start and then like a lot of effort and
And the problem is
resources.
sometimes, right, we spend a ton of money on permanent and impermanent things, which go
Yeah.
away very, very quickly. And
Right.
that's tough.
They have
And I'd love to maybe defer it and discuss it when Sarah's here because she's got some passion behind the project.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to like reach any conclusions. I'm just speaking for myself. I view it as a modest lost cause. And I would personally be in favor of just moving on somehow and spending the council dollars elsewhere. But we should make sure Sarah's here because she cares a lot about it. Some of you care a lot about it. I'm just expressing my own personal contrarian opinion on the topic right now.
So I was just looking up the sun catcher. So last year it was about between both third Thursdays, it was about $100, 100 to 110. So we could definitely, that would be in the budget without having to go into the reallocation.
And did
Yeah.
that include all of the buckets, the little things and paints?
No, I took that figure out
Okay.
because I bought those was just a one-off. But even those, to get 500 of those was $20.
Right.
So if we did need more, we could probably get the $20.
Right.
We would probably need more paint because I'm pretty sure I'll have to go out in my shed and do a little inventory. But we did reuse a lot from the last year, so this is probably 2-year-old paint, and it's probably going to need to be refreshed. But
Well,
some
I
of
have
the
the
kids,
outside paint, but that seems like it's more expensive and more worthy to keep for the outside project rather than.
yeah. So and these were easier because we bought the little pens because the kids. The way that I think that, when we spread it out, because they're there for a while. And so that way they could take it and move around. So it wasn't this
Oh, it's
huge,
great.
like
Mhm.
crowd. And then they also stay longer because we put the cap back on. And so some of the kits came with the paint. So, I mean, I'll look at all that again, but it was
Okay.
not, they were like $10 each. And I bought 2 of each every time.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry to go back, but for the Littleton Town in Bloom, did you guys, when you went to pick up the flowers from the organizations that needed paint, did you recover the paint?
Yeah,
I have
Yes.
paint.
I have paint.
Okay,
I have a satchel of paint.
I don't think we will need paint next year. Okay, great. Just that.
Yeah.
knowing.
I didn't get,
satchel of globs of paint.
yeah. We might need brushes because I didn't get brushes back from Council of Aging. I don't know what happened with those.
I have
but-
a bunch of brushes still.
Okay, so we might
I
still
do
be good.
too.
I'll do an
Yeah.
inventory for next time if you want, and that way we'll know.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was a couple of boxes of paint we didn't even open, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just for the minutes, we're gonna do July and August sun catchers again.
Karaoke. Would that be funny? I think that would be funny.
I'm
if
like,
we
I'll
had-
bring you. You want me to bring a
I have a
karaoke
karaoke machine, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that'd
don't know
be
if we have connection to a power source. That's the only thing.
They do have power out there.
Yeah.
I think you have to request it though if you do want power. Yeah.
You know what else might be fun? Like, and this is again for the future, again, like, future. I wonder if we could ever have like some of our grantees come and like, I don't know, do a performance like Neshoba Valley Chorale, like 3 people from there come like sing one of their songs
Oh,
or
that'd
like
be
act
fun.
or something like, you know what I mean? Or somebody else, an artist
Yeah.
show, some that would be cool to think about for the future. I know.
Get one
we're,
of
like,
those
a little
stone
bit late.
carvers. Get in
Yeah,
there.
right.
Do a
Somebody gets
live
stone
stone
we get
carving.
sued. Yeah, right. No, I agree though. I think that would be cool. Like just, each year maybe see if they want to just contact some of them, see who wants to be featured, who's
So for
available.
years and years, I did one of the booths, and we bought canvases, and I wrote "Help Me Stage," and I had people creating beautiful canvas art, and that was really fun because they would build on each other's, and so
Oh,
it was
cool.
fascinating. One year we just had hula hoops, and it was very fun to watch people do hula hooping because there were some fine examples, and so that kind of
Not so fine.
right. But those are the things that are just fun. So it doesn't necessarily need to be something that's sticky and gooey and awful.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
probably still have a batch of hula hoops. So
Yeah,
if we want to bring those and
to make it more fun, just for fun. Just for fun. It doesn't have to necessarily
it's
be
performance art.
right. Performance art, right?
Right.
Have somebody do the hip hop chair dance.
Right? I mean, I would sponsor canvases if we wanted to do that kind of thing again, to do stuff. So it's fun. It's just
Cool.
get their little hands busy and get people doing stuff. And the teenagers came because
That's cool.
they can do
Yeah.
art, right?
Right.
Mm.
That sounds great.
Mm.
All right, so perfect. So we're gonna do the sun catchers again for at least this year, and then I think we're gonna have another discussion for July with hopefully Sarah. I'll let Sarah know in advance that we're gonna be kind of deciding the fate of not deciding, but like talking about the fate of the labyrinth. In the next meeting, and that we'd really like her input if she's available. And if not, maybe she can just write us how she feels about it before the meeting, and then somebody can read it. If she's unavailable, because I know summer gets tough. Oh, who's that, sweetie?
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Sophia, but she just went to soccer evaluations and she's gonna take a shower.
Hi, Sophia. I hope it went,
Oh my
I hope it
gosh,
went well.
Juliana, she looks like you.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
Bye.
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 Have a nice shower.
So cute.
I will also send out last year's community survey, like when I send out the minutes, and if everybody just wants to look at it. I mean, we've always just sort of kept very much the same things and maybe moved them around, but I'd love to just get some feedback. And then I'll just make a new one.
Thank you.
Copy paste. God bless that duplicate button on Google Forms.
Exactly.
I'll try to link it in here too if I remember.
So at least Kathy and I think, are available for the July one, and then for August, I know.
Yep.
We can always decide that at the next meeting.
I'll be available for the August one.
Okay, great.
And
Yeah, I
I,
can do one or both.
I should be available too.
Awesome. Okay, fabulous. Okay, I don't think we have anything else except any other business that people want to discuss, just random topics, and then drafting the agenda topics for the next meeting, which Kiki's probably already been doing because she's like so efficient. And
We
Just
have
for-
pictures
for-
of things because every year, one thing to remind you guys is when you go to these events, take pictures because every year they ask us to put it in the end of year report. And
Oh,
if we have
yeah.
to-
I was
right?
going to ask if anybody had gotten, I think they might email you about it, Melissa, if you just keep an ear about that they'll want us to be involved in the annual report, for the town, that book.
oh
And
yeah,
they usually want pictures and that kind of thing. But that's a great reminder because that'll be coming up.
I've gotten that. Yeah, that sounds familiar from last year, but
I think
wait,
it's
maybe I
like,
did on the 4th on the
yeah,
where
it's
that came
probably
from.
like going to be an after July thing because it's like a fiscal year thing. So I'm sure they're going to like after July 1, because it's like they'll have like financial reports in there too.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
see it like from last year. Oh, hold on. Let me share my screen really quick. Where do I do that?
I'm going to take membership updates off because I think we're good. on that.
View. Share. It's down here, isn't it? Share. Entire screen. Okay, this is what they sent me last year, I think. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
here's what the Littleton Cultural Council is. Blah,
Oh, those
blah,
are some
blah.
pretty rocks.
Yeah, some lovely rocks in the labyrinth. And then, so this must have been the 2023 one, actually.
Yeah, we were like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just to keep our eyes or our ears to the ground about that.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, I will.
And that's a good reminder to send the email out to the other folks, right? That we've given the grant to the grantees to say, if you have a picture,
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
love to post it on our website. We'd love to post it in the town report, just to remind them. And then they'll only pick one or two, but at least we have some to choose from.
That's a great
Giving them
idea.
free publicity.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, do you want me to write that down to email all, like, just do a mass email to all of our grantees?
I love that. Maybe title, got pics?
I like that.
Publicize yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out.
Okay.
I sent Kiki. I don't know if they were good pictures, honestly, but I sent Kiki. Remember where
Yeah.
the that I went to? So at least we have.
Yeah,
one.
I was gonna say we do have some stuff. I usually load them up into the Google Drive, but I am woefully with everything in my life. I am woefully behind.
I'm not sure it's the photo we want, but
But hey, it's there.
drugs.
But sometimes like I think last year I took a bunch of photos and I made a collage out of them. So even if it's not the greatest photo, then you put a better photo on top and get the bottom of it.
that sounds smart. Yes, I like it.
But yeah, those are great. Yeah, and that's a great idea to ask the grantees
And we
because I
can
think that would
actually
be cool.
frame that, right? If we've got the acrylic frames for the third Thursdays,
Mhm.
that's a nice thing to put.
Oh yeah, so that people know what we're doing. That's
Right,
amazing.
like, if you're wondering what we're doing, this is what we're funding. Come to us. Come.
That is amazing. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so any photos that I receive back,
Well,
I will-
if you send it from the info at,
Yeah.
the cultural council email, and then, cause I go in there every Wednesday and look at, I can check that email address. So I can always pull anything from there.
how do I do that? Is there like a stop? Like, I don't even know how to do that. I don't think I've done that before. Send it from the
Yeah.
info at.
That's okay. I mean, I'm happy
You
to
can
send it
you can
because,
teach me.
yeah, and I'm happy to do it too if you don't want to. Cause I
I
was
feel like
thinking,
you have all the action items. I feel bad.
I'm
I
sorry.
need to do another one.
I can show you whatever you want to do.
All right.
Because I already reply back to them all like when we get their document, so it's like it might be easier for me just to do it because it's all
Okay.
sort of right there, and I'll just hit
Yeah,
reply.
if you want to give me
and be
something
done.
else so you don't feel like you're doing too much, just let me know, like off of the giant list that you have right now.
Okay.
I can always order the sun catchers or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I could send you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, send that to- okay, cool. I just don't want anybody to feel like they're doing anything, like everything, Okay, did I stop sharing? So yeah, I think I did. Okay. All right. So
Just last
and then
bit, sorry, of just for the council to know, I'm sorry, I've missed the past two meetings. I'm here and I'm going on sabbatical at the end of the month, so I'm going to be away again for July and August.
okay,
We'll be back in time to do the third Thursday in August.
awesome. Good for you.
I hope it's somewhere great and you're gonna have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Croatia, South Africa, got a
Wow.
writing fellowship in tropical Minneapolis, a couple of places.
That sounds
Tropical.
awesome.
I'm going to
Very
San
popular.
Antonio, Texas in August, so I feel like maybe you've got me beat. I'm just feeling pretty bad for myself.
It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
All right, Kiki, do you have what you need to draft the agenda topics for the next?
Yes. I'm keeping them
Mhm.
basically the same. The only one I'm taking out is membership updates because I feel like we're at a full board of 10 now, and we know, and nobody but Ray is off, and he's already said he's going to recommit. So I don't think we need to put that on the agenda anymore.
Perfect.
That's still true after this meeting, Ray? Or?
I just submitted while we were talking.
There we go.
Yeah, take it back.
Do it now.
It's all set. Action item checked off.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
don't do it
awesome.
now, I'm gonna forget.
All right, I officially call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
8:08 p.m. Thank you all for being here.
1 hour exactly.
Everyone.